What's up, cinephiles? Welcome to our review of Untrue, directed by Sigrid Andrea Bernardo.
Untrue stars Cristine Reyes as Mara and Xian Lim as Joaquim. Dalawang Filipino sila na nagtatrabaho sa Georgia who fell in love and, well, they got married. And yung story na to, it's a thriller that's basically he says, she says, kung sino ba yung nagsasabi na to after a domestic violence event na nangyari. And well, it's up to us to know by watching this film kung kaninong perspective ba ang totoo. So Kevin, what can you say about this movie?
Okay, I am surprised that this came out from Sigrid Andrea Bernardo. It's very different from her previous films. One is Kita Kita, a very heartfelt film of two OFWs helping out together throughout solitary and loneliness.
Yeah.
And this one's very different. Yung setting sa Kita Kita, it really paints a blissful loneliness in Japan. And here, Sigrid picks the right location in Georgia. It has a lot of weird cultural norms like men chanting, some of the dances that it feels too foreign for us, which adds to the tension to the film, and also added with the bluish cinematography. Like, you know from the get-go that something is wrong with this film. Also, the cold temperature, you can feel that transcending across the theater. Yeah, I am really surprised that Sigrid is able to explore na hindi lang siya one-trick pony when it comes to becoming a director. She tries different avenues of film, and we don't really have a lot of psychological thrillers, especially in the romance. So I am really intrigued. This film is divided into 3 parts. We have first on the account of Cristine Reyes Mara telling her version of the story, and the second part is the version of Joaquim played by Xian Lim, and the third part is now the truth. The third act is the make or break of this film. So what do you think? Did it make or did it break?
What they wanted to achieve with this movie, I really respect that, and I agree. This movie is very competently shot. Ang ganda ng mga pinili ring set locations dito ng director. Yung eerie vibe, yung tension, it was always there. With regards dun sa bluish cinematography, I think they overdid that. I really didn't like it, lalo na kapag merong flashbacks na sobra naman yung sepia na cinematography. It's really apparent na isa sa mga inspirations sa movie na to ay Gone Girl. He says, she says, but I gotta say, this movie didn't really work out for me. And mainly, first off, sabihin muna natin, the dialogue. The dialogue, I think you agree with me. The dialogue was bad. Like, really bad. Ang bummer sa akin dito is, dun sa first part ng movie, yung dialogue doon, most of it, especially the integral ones, yun din yung dialogue sa second part ng movie na to because sa perspective naman ni Joaquim. And because of that same dialogue and same plot beats, parang medyo nabobore ako hearing that dialogue again. Parang na ano ako.
It's not particularly brilliant, and once again, when you're hammered with the same level of dialogue,
yes, exactly,
you're gonna get fed up.
Yup. Cristine Reyes tsaka si Xian Lim, I really like them as actors, but I'm sorry, hindi rin strong yung performances nila
I
nito.
don't think this is their best. I've seen Cristine Reyes at a better performance. I think she did better in Maria, an all-action film, but mostly they got sabotaged by the weak script. I mean, may ibang actors na kaya nilang dalhin yung weak script, pero dito kasi medyo na-damage talaga sila.
Na-damage talaga sila, especially si Xian Lim. Kasi I went into this movie blind. So, hindi ko talaga alam what to expect. Hindi ko nga alam na he says, she says to until nung makuha natin yung perspective ni Joaquim. First part ng movie na to, parang naiirita ako na, how can you fall in love with that guy? Pero
Come to think of it, Mara could be an unreliable narrator.
Yeah, yun nga. Pero nalaman ko na unreliable narrator siya nung nandun na tayo sa perspective ni Joaquim. So, actually, nung dumating yung point na yun, I came from really hating this experience to kind of being interested kasi, okay, so this is those kinds of movies na he says, she says. Kaso, pagdating din dun sa perspective ni Joaquim, maraming hindi nag-make sense para sa akin sa screenplay nitong film na to.
For me naman, the huge bummer for me is when it comes to the third act, when the truth has now been revealed.
Yeah,
I felt like the film really lingered on the expository moments. And I wish this is the film that wants you to mind F you. And I wish they sustained that level level of making its audiences guess. Audiences are smart too. They can form their conclusion. You may want to leave it an open-ended conclusion to have more intrigue, you know, to make your work feel more timeless.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that is the biggest drawback for me.
Yeah.
And it's kind of clunky. Peppered with the sepia cinematography, it can be a little bit of an eyesore. Performances, among the two, I like Cristine's performance better. I think Xian's performance got off on the wrong footing the moment he started act on a high level. But then again, this is painted on Mara's POV, so we can't really tell if that is intended.
What this film has going for it, kahit na medyo weak nga yung script, is it's very tense. Kaya dun sa third act, I was actually in disbelief. Nakanganga na ako na parang of the things happening on screen because most of it parang... Pero all the while, I was still invested in the movie. Gusto ko makita how it ends because it was really tense.
Yeah.
It was really tense yung ending, right?
Yeah.
I even found myself na parang, run! Kahit na, when will this movie end? So that, at least it has that going for it.
Yeah. It's true, whether you like it or not, one thing's for sure, this movie will get you hooked.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the filmmaking. No, I wish they have more refined and restrained screenplay to work at. So I'm gonna give this film a barely passing grade with a 3 out of 5 stars.
If you look at it, it's really competently directed. Ang issue ko lang talaga dito is yung color palette. I think really yung bluish tsaka yung sepia, it kind of overdid it na medyo imbis na it added up to the tension, para sa akin medyo naging bland. And the performances not necessarily strong. The screenplay not great. Although, yeah, it kept me hooked, but I'm giving this movie 2 out of 5 stars.
That's it for our review of Untrue, directed by Sigrid Andrea Bernardo.
If you like this video, click that like button and subscribe to our channel. Also, click that notification bell so you can be up to date with our latest videos. And that's it. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye!